Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. But you always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
the get up. It's get up time. It's get up time. It's get up. You're late time. Okay, we're extremely late, and that's okay. I'm perfectly fine with being late this cold morning. Okay, Delilah had woke me up at 3:30 this morning. 3:30 by 4:00. Our tails were outside because she had to go pee pee. 4:00 in the morning at 47 degrees in Florida. It was burr, but I sported it like, what, bitches? Cold ain't got nothing on Betty. The cold ain't got nothing on Betty. I lied. I threw on the robe and came running back in the house. It whipped my butt this morning. It whipped my butt. I promise you it did. It is nice to see you, Melanie. Eeyore Blues. Denise, good morning. Lisa B. Always. It's nice to see you. Our mom of 9.5 spoiled me rotten last night. Just FYI. Eeyores, it's nice to see you. Let them 66. Good morning. Good morning. Brown Chicken. Dollface Present. It's nice to see you, Love Bug. Hello, good morning, and yes, we are going to be talking about Camilla this morning. We're going to be talking about the political realm first, and then we're going to dive into Camilla so we can, open up conversation and look into some key factors. I didn't pull a whole bunch up. We'll do it in real time here this morning. Groovy Gal, Stacy, it's nice to see you. Good morning. The real Me Too up in the house, popping and locking. Carmela, good morning. It's nice to see you. True Crime Junkie up in the house. It's nice to have you. Good morning, Phil. Trust the Process. Hello, Bombastic. Tammy Crimes, it's nice to see you. Who else do we have? We've got Kathleen. Good morning. MJ. Good morning, love. Hopefully you're doing well today. Merry Christmas and happy early New Year's, folks. We're rolling into 2026, whether we like it or not. It's coming like a freight train. Ruby, it's nice to see you. Hope Floats, good morning. Cinderella, Little Orange Man, it's nice to see you. Freeside, well, good morning. Been a while, Love Bug. Hope you're doing well. Welcome. Who else do we have? Vicky, it's nice to see you. Good morning. I think that's it. Do we have anybody over here? Ambers, it's nice to see you. Good morning. Vicky, Bombastic. Look like you guys came over to the horizontal. Looks like we got 9 people over there in the vertical. Good morning to you, beautiful 9 folks. It's nice to see you. I hope you're having a great Tuesday, and I hope you guys are all bundly up and warm. YouTuber Frank, it's nice to see you guys. Good morning. Guys, I'm going to tell you right now, we've got a 5 o'clock show. Okay, this is on. Hey, Michelle, it's nice to see you. Frosty Moose, good morning. Big Mac Mike up in the house. It's nice to see you, love. Nice to see you. We've got a heck of a show today at 5. Okay, you guys see this, right? 2 pages, front and back of pages. Look at this, all printed, okay? This is going to be a show, if you have been watching the Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers case. I'm hoping that my paperwork gets bigger than this, but we've got quite the show for you. I'm not going to tell you what is involved, but as you see, we've got charts. See these charts? These are charts, okay? We got charts. We are going to break down the first 2 interviews. That's Duchess, and that is the green shirt interview. We're going to be building on this. We are going to have a complete database for searching for Sebastian Rogers. Any question your little heart desires, we're going to be able to ask this system that I am building right now and have it produce some real results, okay? As you guys know, about a month or 2 months ago, I told you that we were going to start building something like this. We are getting into the actual process of plugging all the factual stuff. We're not putting Bullhorn Betty. I think they did it Let's go. Let's go, right? No, we're not doing that. We're putting in all of their interviews, all of law enforcement statements, all the factual stuff, whether we like to hear the information or don't, whether we agree with the information or not. These are the ones coming from the sources. These are the ones we're going to plug in. We're going to keep everybody's opinion, as much of their opinion, out as possible, and only focus on the actual stuff that we know to be true. We're removing the noise, okay? We're removing the noise from the Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers case, and we are building this case. We are building this case. By the time this is done, I want a complete timeline. I want this thing to be able, I want it to be able to walk, talk, and tell me where the hell Sebastian Rogers is. You know what I'm saying? That's what I want. Now, do I think it's going to be that? I don't. I don't think we're going to, hey, Faye, Michelle, it's nice to see you. Did I get everybody else so far? I did. Okay. But I do want you guys to know that this is going to be a very, very well thought out live stream about this case. You guys know we've been going back to the beginning. We're not doing this just to fill space on YouTube. We're doing this because there's a child still missing. This child has been missing for 2 years. This has cost this channel. This case here has cost this channel more money than any other case has cost this channel. Okay, we have a financial need to see this case through. We have a personal need to see this case through. We have a heart part of us that, the parental part of us to see this case through. The Sebastian Rogers case is the case. It's the only case that I will ever tattoo on my body, right? Sebastian's army, because it's going to take an army to take this Goliath out. We've got a huge battle ahead of us. We know who the targets truly are, right? There's only a few of them. One of them has been in my opinion, fully cleared. Okay, and that's Seth Rogers. There's no other, out of all the people that could possibly have done this, Seth Rogers is on camera, okay? Spare me your BS, okay? I don't want to hear anybody comes here. Hey, Jules, it's nice to see you. Anybody comes here saying, I'm not right about, I don't want to hear you. Okay, I don't want to hear you. Please don't make me be nasty to you. I don't want to be a nasty person, but I don't want to hear you, okay? He was on camera. He's the only one out of the three that are on camera. So let's move past Seth, okay? We're not playing this garbage, not with the hate channels, not with anybody else. Seth was seen and observed on cameras during the time before and after the time Sebastian disappeared, period, okay? We're not looking at Seth, okay? We will say that, we did. I'm not wasting my time with Seth. He is the only person out of the entire United States of America that's involved in this case that was observed on camera, okay? So it's literally every other possible person in America before it's Seth Rogers, now that we cleared that up, okay? So Seth Rogers out, okay? Everybody else right now is in, okay? Including Bullhorn Betty, okay? I can tell you that I was situated in the state of Florida, far from Tennessee at the time this young boy disappeared, and as a matter of fact, didn't even have a vehicle during this time, so I can clear myself, but in all fairness, just to put it out there like that, everybody is a suspect in the Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers case, okay? You are a suspect in the Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers case. I know you're saying, Betty, I didn't do it. I didn't either. But that's how close we are to being a suspect in the Sebastian Rogers case as Seth is, okay? That's the point I'm trying to make. All right, now that you guys get it. Now that you guys get it. So if you guys want to be a part of this conversation, which again, I'm hoping that this will be a little more meaty by the time we get, because I'll be working on pulling some reports all day today. Well, maybe not all day. I've already pulled this report for the 2 interviews. I may incorporate interview 3 and 4 into it. I'm not sure. I think we're going to do this in steps. So I think it's important that we compare interview 1 to interview 2, and then compare interview 1 and 2 to interview 3. You know what I'm saying? So I think the way I've got it set up to do it, I think is going to be the best way to do it. But if you guys think of a different way to do it that might be a little bit better, easier, whatever, let me know. You can send that to bullhornbetty@gmail.com, bullhornbetty@gmail.com. So that is it for this afternoon. We're not coming back to Sebastian Rogers until we're here at 5 o'clock this evening. So this is going to be a great live. I can tell you it's going to be a great live because I've done the work. I've looked at the work, and it is, to me, it's interesting. It's going to be an interesting conversation for all of us to have, is where I'm going. And it may be so important that I may actually open up the phone lines. We were going to open up the phone lines. Then we went on the 911 calls. I can only handle stuff for so long. And then I'm sure just like you, sitting around for too long, we have to get blood flowing. So I didn't open up the phone lines, and I didn't see Samantha in here. And that was the reason why I was going to open up the phone lines. Today, we're going to be opening up the phone lines because I have a funny feeling you guys are going to have a lot to talk about today. So I don't know how long our 5 o'clock live is going to last, okay? We've got a lot of stuff to go over in that 5 o'clock. It may be an hour. It may be 2 hours. It might be 3 hours. If we open up the phones and you guys are calling in, it could go on. I'm not going to turn the phones off until we get through the calls from all of you guys with questions or your statements, or you just wanting to tell people your perspective. Some of you guys have a lot of stuff that you've been trying to convey to people, and not that nobody's listening, but that nobody's really paying attention to these statements. So now we're going to give you a platform to call in and be able to speak what you think happened to Sebastian, or where you think he might be, or something something like that. So this will be a great opportunity. So now you guys can kind of look and think about what you want and be prepared at 5 o'clock this afternoon. All right, guys. So we're going to start off because I think Camilla's case is going to take us to the end of the show. And we might actually go over our time slot for today to discussing Camilla, because it sounds like there's a lot of people in here with a lot of questions. I'm still new to the Camilla case. I really haven't done any deep dive research. I haven't pulled any reports that I usually pull. I haven't plugged in a timeline. I haven't done anything on the Camilla case, okay? Just to let you know, you guys know our kind of how we do things here. There's a lot that goes into the work that we did. And that's another thing I didn't do. I mean, outside of Melody Buzzard, I did pull reports for her mom, Ashley Buzzard, but nothing really further than that. And I probably should have dove deeper. But again, I was whatever. But this one I haven't done anything with. So we're going to be helping each other out with this case. And I was supposed to go over to my chat yesterday, and I didn't go over to my chat yesterday, so I'll have to do that later today. But we're going to start getting up on this case because, like I said, I was having some mixed feelings about Camilla, and I think some of those mixed feelings are having some pay dirt. So we're going to be discussing those in the second half of this show this morning. So good morning, guys. I'm Bullhorn Betty. Welcome to the Coffee Club. If you don't have your coffee or your beverage, some of you guys don't drink coffee, go grab your beverage and come back and hang out with us for a little bit. We're going to be going over this massive fraud scheme in Minnesota. This thing is really, really a huge and big deal. And not only is it a huge and big deal, it's happening all over the country. But we're focusing on Minnesota because I think Minnesota is the largest in scale. Like, this is fraud. This is historic fraud, historic public fraud. I think that this is so large that I really do believe once we uncover all of the fraud in all 50 states, I think we're going to realize half of our trillions of dollars in debt. What is our debt from people robbing us blind, filtering through our coffers, if you will, stealing from the silos, okay? Nobody can do that except government. Okay, so is there a government involvement here? In my opinion, there is. There is government involvement, and we're going to go to Benny Johnson at the end of this to kind of put a big old bow on where this corruption and fraud came from. And I think it's one person that we've been trying very hardly to not only expel from Congress, but also deport back to Somalia herself, okay? She's a lady that you guys know from Ilhan Omar, married her brother, has been nothing but a fraudulent piece of garbage in this country from the beginning. Even coming over here, she was fraudulent. Her father was fraudulent. We're finding out how possibly we can undo whatever she has done, okay? But she's the one that created the law that relaxed the laws to allow these Somalis to rob them blind. She was the architect, okay? I don't find that, I find that strangely coincidental that she's the one that authored the bill that created the system that was able to be pilfered with fraud. You know what I'm saying? Nebraska state government must have a balanced budget per state constitution. All fraud is investigated. Good. We need more of that. We need more of that because this right here, guys, to me, this feels intentional. This doesn't feel like we have to look at this. There were two people. Now, this is hindsight 2020. Let's look at this. I'm going to give you guys a conspiracy theory, okay? This is my conspiracy theory. I'm going to tell you guys it. I'm going to be straight up with you. And you guys are going to some of you are probably going to be going, do. And some of you guys are going to be like, yep, Betty, you're right. Okay, I want you guys to think about this. So during the presidential election, Biden was the one on the ticket. With no vote from the party, they switched Biden and Kamala. It pissed the Democrats off. Like, how dare you just switch a person on the ballot without any due process, any voting, right? That doesn't sound freaking oligarch or what, tyrannical or kings-like, right? Where they just don't even ask their entire party. They just switch from Biden to Kamala. But then it didn't come down to that. Think about the two people that were up for the VP. Josh Shapiro and Tim Walz. I've always believed Josh Shapiro was involved with the assassination attempt in Butler, Pennsylvania. It was not until after that assassination attempt that he was on the short list for VP. And Tim Walz was on the short list of VP. But Tim Walz was selected. Why? What did that campaign need more than anything else? They didn't need a dead president. They needed money. And it just so happens he now, hindsight 2020, happened to have the biggest fraud. And all of these child daycares and all of these medical practitioners that are now riddled with fraud, all donated to Act Blue. So they were stealing the money from the taxpayers, taking their cut, and then sending the cut over to Act Blue for the party. I think this is what they're going to ultimately find when they do their investigation and follow the money in Act Blue. I think that this was fraudulent. I think we're going to find out that this fraud is happening in all 50 states, and it's being funneled through that Act Blue account. And other accounts. I think they're smart enough not to hold all their eggs in one basket. I just think the Act Blue was the clearinghouse, it was the one that was the most well known. I know Tim Walz's own family wouldn't vote for him. I believe that. So that's kind of where we are with this whole thing. So now we're going to get here because I want you guys to understand that Nick Shirley, a YouTuber, much like myself, just in a different genre, right? He's in the conservative fighter, Republican causes. We're kind of in the middle of that. We do true crime, but I've always been politically active. You guys knew me from being a Front Row Joe, traveling the country, going to all these Trump rallies. We even did it during some of our true crime stuff. It's just one of those things that we have been heavily involved, except I took my channel to a different avenue because let's face it, politics is not necessarily the most popular in the entire world, and I didn't think that that was going to be the most effective. What was the core values of me? And it's law and order, so I don't see any other place for me to be other than true crime and building off that and building our political arsenal off these crimes and trying to really affect change across this country, because I think one of the most detrimental to our causes for everybody is violence. We need to be able to live to fight, right? Right? To argue with each other. We all need to be able to live. And so, I remember that, hearing his story, him almost being whacked and all kinds of stuff. He's really put himself out there as a YouTuber. And this one, he went out there and was dealing with the Somali population and he literally uncovered $110 million in fraud in literally several hours. It was the most insane thing that I think many of us Americans witnessed, because it's like this was so simple to identify. It's hard to believe that our own government couldn't. That a 23-year-old YouTuber uncovered this scam and this con, but the mainstream media, the politicians, the gatekeepers, the auditors, none of them could do it. None of them could do it. Just this 23-year-old boy that doesn't even live in the community came in there and showed the world to the tune of how bad the fraud is in this country, why we are so far in debt, how we are being robbed blind. It took a 23-year-old young, brave man to do that for the people here. And what we learned was astonishing, and it rocked this nation to its core, literally to its core, to the point that now we've got the FBI going door to door for these fraudsters, door to door.
Usually parents, they come like this, drop the kids. No. We just for vanity luncheon. This is the location. This is where everybody comes.
Perfect. Are there any subcontractors or anything you guys deal with?
Like what?
Say like other businesses that you partner with that you use for a service of any kind, maybe transportation or anything like that? No.
We provide. Usually parents, they come like this, drop the kids, they go to us, and then we take care of them.
Awesome. And who actually oversees the receipt of those documents?
They are going everywhere. Stores, businesses, they are literally going door knocking. Door by door by door by door.
Hi. Question, man. Are you guys associated with business next door? What kind of No. You know when the last time someone's been there? I see it locked up and closed, but we had...
So they found a locked building. They're going to the neighbors saying, hey, do you know anything about this? And they're saying, basically, we don't know.
No? Have you seen anybody come and go from there?
Yesterday I was working in Jordan. I go around, so yesterday I was not here.
Okay.
So I'm not sure, to be honest with you.
So there you go. They're doing their job. They're doing their job.
Into alleged widespread fraud in Minnesota. This is growing. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem sharing this video on X showing DHS officers questioning people at unknown businesses. She says they are going door to door at suspected fraud sites. News Nation's Brooke Schaefer has been following this one for us. So, Brooke, Secretary Noem says these agents in Minnesota,
And I just want to make this a point. This should not be the federal's responsibility. Like, this should be the state. The state should not want to be just wasting money. Can you imagine? This looks like it may balloon to $18 billion in Minnesota, folks. The fraud is ungodly. How do you think the Minnesota taxpayers feel? They have to pay the federal government their taxes, and then they pay Minnesota's taxes for Minnesota to literally take a match to all of their hard-earned money and hand it to people that don't even belong in their blessed community for services that aren't even being rendered. It's just a straight con and fraud on the people. And then you know what Tim Walz does? He decides in an effort to get himself a pat on the back to go make abortions literally the day before delivery. I just want you guys to understand that. That's disgusting. A child could breathe at that point. You're talking about murder, in my opinion. Straight up murder. To kind of cover up, to try to make himself palatable for these people. So in order to make yourself more favorable for the fraud, you choose murder. Got it.
Part of a broader investigation, and also that apparently more are coming.
That's right, Kelly. The FBI has surged agents to Minnesota, and now so has Homeland Security. HSI investigators launched what they are calling a massive investigation, going door to door to suspected fraud sites in Minneapolis yesterday. The agency said the large-scale investigation is targeting, in part, fraudulent daycare and healthcare centers. It follows that now viral video posted just a few days ago where YouTuber Nick Shirley visited nearly a dozen allegedly empty childcare centers, reportedly getting millions of dollars in state funding.
Empty. Millions of dollars in state funding. Look at it. They even have it painted for kids, knowing damn well not one child is going to be in there.
Video has garnered the attention of millions online, and it comes as federal prosecutors had already said the amount of Medicaid and federally funded fraud they are finding in their state is staggering, potentially totaling at least $9 billion.
I am hearing that it's going to skyrocket up to almost 18 billion. That's a B, folks. $18 billion. And that's what they're finding. Now, you know damn well there's going to be a lot that they're not going to be able to find or prove at this rate. We know that. This is what they can prove. This is what they can prove, folks.
Stretching as far back as 2018. News Nation has been covering this for months from Minnesota. To date, more than 90 people have been charged or convicted in multiple fraud schemes. Our sources say many are Somali Americans. Of
course.
Republican lawmakers in the White House, they are calling for accountability this morning, many continuing to criticize Minnesota Democratic Governor Tim Walz.
If you guys are in Minnesota, you need to be joining on the bandwagon and calling for this piece of shit to be removed. I don't care how you vote. I don't care who you vote for. I mean, I do. Obviously, I'm a political activist and advocate, but at the end of the day, you do you. But you cannot have this in your state. I don't care if you like this guy or not. He is a failure on the most massive scale, historic failure. And I guarantee a lot of that money went into this man's pocket right here, along with Ilhan Omar. She went from being negative $45,000 in debt to having over $30 million in 1 year. And she is the one that wrote the bill to deregulate. Don't tell me she is not a part of this fraud.
Some calling for him.
People have turned a blind eye because they're scared of being called a racist. You guys have got to wake up. I don't give a rat's ass what people call me. You guys have watched me sit up here and be called every name under the sun for the way I speak, the way I talk, the way I act, the way I believe. It still hasn't changed one fiber of me. Not one fiber of me. Remember, sticks and stones, folks. Sticks and stones.
To resign. Walz says he has worked for years to crack down on fraud. Meantime, Attorney General Pam Bondi says the Justice Department is now working with multiple federal agencies to, quote, unravel this scheme. Kelly?
Yeah, it seems like this may have tentacles elsewhere, too. What is this?
Tentacles elsewhere, my ass. It's all, this is the tip of the iceberg. This kind of construction is going on in all 50 states. So if you're not seeing arrests like this, then your politicians aren't doing their job. There is this fraud. I know it. I think my community is pretty sharp, right? I don't think that this stuff's going on. And my sheriff made big news for the arrest on EBT fraud here in Manatee County. Some of our top, political X accounts posted him. I was surprised. I even made statements on X like, this is my sheriff, Great job, guys. Hey, Stanley, it's nice to see you. I haven't had my lips to a bullhorn in years. That's not necessarily true. I was just did a protest in North Carolina at the beginning of the year. What do you mean years? I had my bullhorn then. Actually made the news. Met Penn Badgley out there. Big name guy. If you guys don't know who Penn Badgley is, he's the actor in You. We did a project together out there. Yes, Shirley did. And that was at the beginning of 2025. And we're doing another one in February 2026 for Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. I haven't changed at all. What had happened is I had legal expenses. It kind of hampers when everybody's got to raise money, thousands and thousands of dollars for legal expenses. It makes it kind of quite difficult, for travel. Where's the money coming from for travel when you got $30,000 in attorney fees? So I can tell you, dear, I have not changed, not one bit. Trust me. Many people fear Bullhorn Betty coming up, right? They don't want me there because they know I will rock their world. I make people climb walls when I'm out on the job. I do very well. I use the law for my benefit. But you're right. I haven't been out in like majorly in a few years, but don't think I haven't. I've done several. I do protest every year, every single year. There's not one year that my bullhorn does not come out and see the light of day. I can promise you that. We haven't stopped since we started. We just did a little more back at the beginning. That's all. But let's face it. Jonathan cheated on me for a year, and Olivia's wanting to start her life. She's 25 years old. She needs to start her life at some point, So let's just face it. I mean, things change, and so does everything else. What else do you want?
State now saying, Brooke, about these daycares that viral video reportedly exposed and the fraud also that they're accused of.
I'm not sure if I am willing to say that one's blank screen.
Minnesota Department...
That sounded a little too personal. Just FYI.
Saying, Brooke, about these daycares that viral video reportedly exposed and the fraud also that they're accused of.
The Minnesota Department of Children, Youth, and Families told us that they are aware of the video circulating online and they take the concerns very seriously. They told us each of the facilities mentioned in that video has been visited at least once in the last 6 months and that children were present during those unannounced visits. The department said
children were present. How many? Because having children present and having 102 children present are two totally different things. Okay? Having some children around the office that are just these people's children, their own children, that's not sufficient. That's not sufficient. What does Sonia say? Should we do the troll? Should we do the troll video? I don't know. I don't think it is. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I think that was a little more personal. If you aren't BS, I apologize, but you're still booted. Well, I still think the person needs to be booted. I'm just saying. I don't think, for whatever reason, that sounded too personal. Doesn't seem like that. Blank Screen likes to call me names and make fun of me, right? And make fun of us. And that was a little different. That was a little bit different. I don't know. So, according to this, fraud has no place in Minnesota public program. Each of the facilities mentioned in the video have been visited at least once in the last 6 months. Staff are out in the community today to visit each of these sites. I bet you they're going to be filled with kids, but they're not going to be filled with the kids that they say that. I mean, I want head counts. I want head counts. I can tell you, when we had our parks and recs going and wasting money for equipment, new equipment on all these parks, I personally went out there with my camera and took a picture of all the playgrounds. Not a stick of rust on these playgrounds, and they're wanting to put new playgrounds in. Not brand new playgrounds. And I'm like, absolutely not. We're not putting in new playgrounds in Manatee County when we don't even have a stick of rust on the playgrounds that we've got. They look brand spanking new. And we fought that and fought that. Sometimes it takes that, just going out there and looking at things. And that's what Nick Shirley did. He went out there. He didn't believe it. There's no possibility that this, and just one after the other, he's like, holy crap, this is real. This is really going on. And it's so brazen and blatant. So brazen and blatant. Hey, Outer Banks, it's nice to see you, love.
Said staff went back to visit each of those daycares again yesterday. We reached out to the two daycares that were highlighted in this video. One of them didn't answer. The other one has a phone number that's now out of order. Kelly?
All right.
Oh, imagine that. Imagine that.
You know you'll be following up, Brooke. Thank you.
Unbelievable. Imagine that. Imagine that. Imagine that. Guys, this is where you're going to be fuming, okay? I don't know how I'm going to be able to do this. Benny Johnson, I'm stealing your clip. I'm sorry. I love you, man. But this is just too good. I'm not going to be able to replicate this. He did a great job on this. He's got the information. It goes from the Feeding Our Futures, which we knew about. This is the $250 million. This is what kicked it all off. We heard about this $250 million fraud scheme in the Somali. $250 million to what we're dealing with right now, $9 billion. That's going to skyrocket up to almost $18 billion. $18 billion. So we have, this Feeding Our Future mastermind, and we're sitting here looking, and I have to agree with Benny. He said almost the same thing I said. These people are coming from dirt floor countries. They have no records in their countries. They have no educational system in their countries. And you're telling me that a bunch of these knuckleheads that are half inbred, and I'm not saying that to be disrespectful. It is the truth. These people, things that we look down upon that's illegal in the United States, they do over there in their country. Okay? I'm not making, hey, hot damn, it's nice to see you. Okay? I'm just saying. This is going to piss you off because it was a Somali that broke our system. That got into a position of power, changed the laws, and turned it ripe for her people to literally defraud the shit out of Minnesota. They did this for power and money. And the governor was just going along with it because, hey, he was going to be put in power, right? But he's too stupid to even see what's going on under his nose. It's so funny that they put these idiots in charge of the states. Why? Because they are so stupid, they don't know what's going on under their nose, and that's what they want. They wanted Tim Walz covering every single state. Why? Because they're too stupid to do their job. And what happens when you have a too stupid of a governor? You have an $18 million fraud, $18 billion fraud ring. $18 billion. $18 billion with a B, right? So federal jury finds Feeding Our Future mastermind and co-defendants guilty of this $250 million pandemic fraud scheme, which President Trump talked about. We had no earthly idea this $250 million was about to explode into $18 billion fraud. This is the biggest fraud perpetrated upon the American people in our history. And it was done by a bunch of shitbags from Somalia? Cut it out. Nobody believes that. Somebody with brains had to set this architecture up. I wonder who it was. It definitely wasn't the dumbasses that are running it.
Who created this? Who built this? And to find the answer to that, you're going to have to look to the most powerful Somali probably in the entire world, which is Ilhan Omar. Ilhan Omar, of course, is quite famous. She's a member of Congress. She's been a member of Congress since 2018, elected because Democrats dumped 100,000 Somalis in Minneapolis.
Wow.
And they were able to facilitate a condensed population so tight and so tightly knit that they were able.
You find this out. Like even the Islamic folks, they're finding a place in Texas to assimilate. They're finding a place in Dearborn, Michigan to assimilate, right? To get there and get their people together and start Sharia's law and make their own living ecosystem where they don't even have to deal with the American people. That is not happening. I'm going to let you guys know that right now. We're aware of it, and we're doing everything we can to fight it.
Able to get one of their own into Congress. And she represents not Minnesota, but Somalia. And there's also some very curious things that are happening with Ilhan Omar and her net worth. And we're going to investigate that today. You see, Ilhan Omar entered Congress in the year 2018. She's received a congressional salary of $174,000 a year. Now, that's taxed. And of course, there are expenses that come with that. And so Ilhan Omar, you would assume over the last 7 years, if she saved every single penny after taxes, she'd maybe have $100,000, a couple $100,000 net worth. She entered
couple $100,000 net worth. Okay, he's about to explain it. She came in negative $45,000 due to student loans. Negative. No money. This lady was the brokest, poorest member of Congress. Give me a second. Sorry about that. Neighbor bringing me stuff over. I don't have the room to eat right now. Sorry about that, guys. So she was the poorest person in Congress, and now he's going to tell you that she has upwards of $30 million. Let's go back just a tad.
After taxes, she'd maybe have $100,000, a couple $100,000 net worth. She entered Congress, by the way, as one of the poorest members of Congress. She had a negative net worth of $45,000 due to student loan and other debts. And so where is she now financially? Well, according to Ilhan Omar's own disclosures, she's now worth nearly $30 million. How's that possible? Well, certainly not on her congressional salary.
How much of this $18 billion fraud scheme wound up in her coffers? How much of this money wound up in her coffers? It looks like her cut was about $30 million. Who were the other players? Who else got a cut of this money? I guarantee it had to have been Tim Walz, because I'm hearing entirely too many people said that they have reported this directly to Tim Walz, and he turned a blind eye.
But Ilhan Omar, if you want to start digging, you'll find that it was her who wrote the bill called the Meals Act that facilitated all of the fraud in Minneapolis.
All right, let's listen to that again.
Find that it was her who wrote the bill called the Meals Act that facilitated all of the fraud in Minneapolis. Here, this case, this scheme was created by Ilhan Omar and her legislation. The people who ran the scheme worked for Ilhan Omar's congressional race. They staffed her race.
Oh my gosh, they staffed her race. They worked for her. The masterminds. The masterminds.
They donated to her. Ilhan Omar was seen serving food at this fraudulent kitchen. How much of this money was kicked back to Ilhan Omar? How much of that $500 million of stolen taxpayer money ended up in her pockets? And how did they do that? Because, you know, you can't just report that you stole a bunch of money from the taxpayers. Well, this is very interesting. You have to look at her husband. Ilhan Omar's husband, her third husband, not her brother husband, his firm has quietly started to scrub their website. This dude is super shady, and he's the reason why.
It's pretty bad when you start hearing an alleged venture capitalist, right, start scrubbing websites. That's not shady at all. So you've got a woman that went into her state, changed her state law to create a pocket ripe with fraud for Somalis to go in there and create fraudulent businesses to extort and fraudulently take money away from Minnesotans and their programs to help Minnesotans. She did this. And then how is she rewarded? She went from being negative $45,000 into debt to having over $30 million in a single year. From 2018 to 2019, she and her husband acquired $30 million, or it was 19 to 20. I can't remember. We'll find out.
Why Ilhan Omar seemingly has so much wealth. His name's Tim Minette. Let's read. Ilhan Omar's husband's venture capital firm is quietly scrubbing key officer details, including former Obama officials.
Wow.
As scrutiny grows, skyrocketing wealth, the Post has learned.
Did Obama? Obama's another person that cashed in really big. Is he getting a kickback too?
Ilhan Omar went from being broke to $30 million in just a year.
A year.
This makes her one of the poor from the poorest member of Congress to one of the richest members of Congress, and she wasn't even born in America.
Do you guys understand this? I'm hoping you guys are understanding what I'm trying to show you guys.
How the hell does that happen? This is potentially due to the massive up to $9 billion fraud scheme involving the Somali community in her district, of which legislation she wrote. Again, this is called the Meals Act. She introduced the Meals Act in 2020, relaxing oversight of congressional-sponsored children's meals programs during the pandemic, which critics say allowed the fraudsters to claim they served millions of meals without verification while pocketing the government subsidies. Shortly after the scheme played out, here's where it gets interesting. Omar's husband, political consultant Tim Minette, launched Rose Lake Capital, a venture capital management firm, in 2022. The company saw its reported value go from zero in 2023 to between $5 and $25 million in just a year.
Oh, it's 2023. Sorry, it was after the fact. It was after the fact.
Who's their customers? Well, we don't know. It touted the officers $60 billion in previous assets under management. This is an amount that would make Wall Street's eyes water. There's a lot of strange things going on. Says some eggheads in D.C. She was basically broke when she came into office. Now she has $30 million. What's going on with these assets? Rose Lake Capital, which touts its deep global network, built in on-the-ground work of more than 80 countries, and had less than $1,000 in assets in 2023, according to financial disclosures. Yet despite the...
So I want you to explain. We have the biggest fraud from the Somali population in American history. And then we find out that the only Somali person in Congress is the one that wrote the bill to relax the oversight law that created this vacuum for this fraud. And she went from being the poorest person in Congress to having $30 million in her account in a single year. I don't really care if you call me racist or whatever you call me, but I want her expelled from Congress, and I want her sent back to her shithole in Somalia. You can call me whatever you need to call me. I'm perfectly fine, okay? Your opinions of me do not affect me and does not matter. And I think everybody needs to start standing up and speaking up without fear of being called a name. I don't give a shit what people call me. What I give a shit about is that $18 billion is missing from the American coffers. And that could have helped a lot of children. We've got a Department of Children and Family Services around this country that is not functioning properly. And we've got people with their hands out and stealing money that could be going to protect children. That's the only thing I care about. That's it. That's it.
Reported windfall, the business's only address is a WeWork office in Washington, D.C., according to its LinkedIn page. Between September and October, the federal prosecutors announced charges against 8 more individuals, including 6 of Somali descent, for their roles in the welfare scheme. The names and bios of Rose Lake Capital's 9 officers and advisors were scrubbed from their website.
Wow.
None of them were charged with fraud. These names include a bunch of...
None of them were charged with fraud, but they should be. But don't worry, we have Pam Bondi, so bet your ass nothing will happen.
Obama people, like former Obama ambassadors, former Obama ambassador to China, former DNC treasurer, former CEO of Amalgamated Bank, which was called itself the Institutional Bank of the Democrat Party. So this is just a massive Democrat lobbying firm. Meanwhile, Minette's other businesses in California, a California winery, which previously faced fraud allegations, was declared a failed venture in 2023, suddenly worth between $1 million and $5 million in 2023.
So they had if you guys don't understand what that means they bought a property, it didn't produce, it ended up being flat. Obviously, the ground was bad, the grapes were bad, whatever the winery was, it was a dud. It was a dud of a sale, and then all of a sudden, boom, in one fail swoop, it went from a worthless piece of property to suddenly worth $1 million to $5 million in 2024. That doesn't typically happen.
2024, a windfall of 9,000%. The winery, a little on the nose here, the Devil's Lie is the wine that they were making.
Yeah. Well.
The fraud case involved a wine investor suing Minette in October 2023, accusing him of swindling him out of $900,000, fraudulently misrepresented.
Swindling. There's a lot of swindling and a lot of theft around Ilhan Omar and her camp.
The wine company that was a legitimate company. It was not a legitimate company. The case was settled out of court. The winery, called E. Strew Crew, at some point around 2022 promoted a line of wine, The Devil's Lie, with a prestigious California winemaker, saying that she abruptly stopped getting paid in 2023. The business was only worth $15,000, but suddenly
between $15,000 and $50,000, and then all of a sudden it's now ballooned to $1 to $5 million. That's somebody fluffing the books to say that they have more net worth than they do. That's fraud. I just want to let you know that's fraud.
Suddenly, Ilhan Omar was claiming that it was worth $5 million. You can see Ilhan Omar's claims right here in her financial disclosures report. You can see she makes a salary here from the wine company. Here's the creepy wine company that's allegedly out of that's not even a real company.
It's
claiming
defunct.
that it's worth $5 million. And here's the Rose Lake.
It's a defunct company.
Capital claiming $25 million.
$25 million in a single year. In a single year. She went from being in debt to being plus $30 million. You know, I think if everybody could just go and become a politician for 4 years, I would think we would be able to live the American dream in a matter of 4 years. We should all have a net worth of $100 million. All we need to do is go into Congress for 4 years. That's all we need to do, folks. Don't you know that in order for you to live the American dream, you have to be off the middle class tit? You got to rob them blind? And the only way you can do it lawfully and legally is become a politician. And then there you go. You can rob us blind and never even have to deal with consequences. Imagine that. And by the way, we have Pam Bondi, which doesn't do shit. So there is that.
See, she technically has no other money.
No other money. Just these two things.
So what's going on?
$30 million.
Exactly. Despite the high net worth placed on the business, the website is a broken link. The phone numbers are disconnected.
Wow.
And the last social media post dates back to 2020.
Wow. So even the business that they're saying they have $30 million at this their phones are disconnected. This sounds like the fraud that we're hearing that's going on in Somalia or over in Somalia over in Minnesota. Right? I didn't mean for it to come out like that. But you guys get it. Wow.
53.
If this doesn't piss everybody, this is our money, folks. This is stuff that goes to our kids that need help. $18 billion gone. And not one American child fed, not one American child with new clothes or a roof over their head, not one American child with jack shit to show for $18 billion. What in the hell is going on here in America? And why don't you just give that money, that $18 billion, directly to the damn families? How many families could be helped with $18 billion? Just give them the cash. Why not give them the cash? Why do these people need the cash? It seems like the people that are struggling need the cash before the businesses. Give them vouchers. Give the people vouchers. They hand a voucher over when the service is completed. That's okay. Thanks for Din, love. I appreciate it. Great shake. Great shake. $18 billion. That could have changed a lot of people's lives in Minnesota. $18 billion. Good gracious.
Being ripped off in a massive welfare fraud scam, Omar's campaign took money from convicted fraudsters. Her husband launched a firm that suddenly ballooned in value, and Tim Walz looked the other way.
What is the population in Minnesota? $5 million. 5.8 million. 5.8 million. Okay. So if you have 5.8 million residents in your state and you have an $18 billion surplus, how much would each individual person receive of the $18 billion? Oh my God. Oh my God. Do you know? And I want you guys to make this make sense. Do you know that every single resident that lives in Minnesota, that means mom, a father, the children, every single individual that is on the census report, every single person. So if you would have had a house of 4 people, you would have been receiving over $12,000. Tell me that would not help a family. Every single person in the state of Minnesota could have received $3,103.45 from the fraud. Every single person. Again, every single person. Not every household. Every single person. 5.8 million people in the entire state of Minnesota. Every single person. With the amount of fraud that just went on, they could have each got over $3,000 a single person. Most people don't spend $3,000 in taxes a year. Our taxes are worthless. We are paying so much money that we literally can be robbed blind here in America. That's how much we have, so much money pouring out of our coffers that we pay so much taxes that our government can literally mismanage tens of billions of dollars in theft. And no one is 90 people right now are being held accountable. 90 people, and you know damn well you've got hundreds, if not thousands of people involved in this theft, including high-level politicians and bureaucrats. I just wanted to put that out for you. Every single person in Minnesota, every single person, every single 5.8 million residents that live in Minnesota could have received over a $3,000 check just on the amount of fraud we've uncovered so far. It might be possible that they could receive a $20,000 check, every single person, by the time we're said and done. My friend lived in Minnesota and left due to the Somali population taking over. What a shame. What an absolute shame. And can you believe that people want to sit there and call us racist for speaking the obvious? Okay, well, call me a racist if it makes you sleep better at night.
When she first took office, the left-wing squad member declared her net worth was a negative $25,000,
Wow.
negative $65,000, claimed no assets, and she was carrying student debt and car debt. Now Omar's assets have skyrocketed up to $30 million based on her last disclosure, just months after a congresswoman dismissed claims that she was a millionaire. Her links to the Minnesota fraud schemes have also started to shed light on where she may be getting her money. Oof.
Wow. Wow. All right, guys. I think you guys got the gist of what we're discussing here. Okay? This is, yeah, no. This is serious. This is entirely a very serious situation, and we know if it's happening in Minnesota, it's happening in every single one of our states. Okay? This that we're dealing with right now is literally happening in every single one of our states nationwide. If you guys want to do yourself a service, now would be the time to start finding the fraud yourself. Each and every one of you guys can go out into your own communities and find that business that never has anybody there. That's a doctor's office, that's a daycare, that is a transportation company. You guys can be being your own little detectives. Now is the time to do that. Without a doubt, now is the time that we must stand up. This is, guys, we found $1 trillion in fraud. We're $36 trillion in debt. We only need to find 36 more of those, and we have just realized our entire United States debt is for fraud. We've already found 1/36 of our debt in this country. Right now, as of today, $1 trillion have been stolen from us. As of right now that we know of 100%. $1 trillion. And again, we're $36 trillion in debt. We just took one of those $1 trillion away. And if we can do that in a matter of a year, think about how much more there is going on in this country that we have no earthly idea about. And guess where this money is going? Do you think it's staying here in the United States? Do you think our hard-earned money is staying here in the United States? No, it is not. No, it's not. It makes you wonder how in the hell George Soros is getting his money. Is it beyond him to rob countries? I don't think so. He needs to be expelled from this country and never allowed back in here. And we need to 86 him to the point where anybody that does business with him is booted as well or goes to jail. He is a threat to America. George Soros and his team are an absolute threat to America. They should not be able to give any money for our country. If they own anything, they need to be bought out or sent back. I don't care. George Soros and his family needs to leave this country. I don't want anything to do with them. All right, guys. So this is why most of you guys are here. We're coming up on Camilla Oh, good gracious. Why do I always screw up this girl's name? I am so sorry. Camilla Mendoza. I don't know why I screw up her name, her last name, for whatever reason. I just doesn't want to spit out Mendoza. Hey, Common Sense. It's nice to see you. Happy Cappy. I don't think I said hi to you either. Good morning. It's nice to see you, Faye. Tulips. Good morning. Bugsy. It's nice to see you. And who all else is over here on the vertical stream here? We got CK. It's nice to see you, love. I hope you're doing well. Who else do we have over here? Dreaming of blue skies and sandy beaches. It's nice to see you. Witchy Chick. It's nice to see you. Good morning, ladies. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys have enjoyed the show so far. Please don't forget to hit the thumbs up button for me. If you'd be kind, if you guys would do it on both of them, it'd be great. If you can do it on the vertical and the horizontal, I'd love you for that. I love you for that. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. As you guys can see, there's a lot of emotion here when it comes to robbing the American people blind. And why is it? It's because we're on the true crime genre. And while our true crime genre, we really believe in our system. We know our systems are really screwed up. We're trying to change our system. But when we hear about $18 billion and know that could have went to help save a child, that could have went to help a family that's struggling, that could have went to send an addicted parent to go get clean. You look at all of the things that this money could have done to help America, to help American people, to help American families, to help people in Minnesota and abroad. And then you find out that this was all stolen from us, so somebody could drive around in a BMW and take those vacations and have that jewelry and have that nice house. And meanwhile, the American citizens that are struggling, that we sit here and get this money to help, are still going without help. We look at that. It angers me. It angers me that I feel that somebody probably lost their life because of this fraud. This was life-saving money that could have helped someone. And it was stolen from them. It was stolen from the people that needed it the most. And instead of this, the politicians standing up and taking accountability and responsibility, they pass the buck like cowards, like pieces of shit. Tim Walz is a piece of shit. The Democrat Party has turned into a piece of shit. I'm sorry, it has. I know that there are great Democrat people. I know great Democrat people. Okay? There's a lot of great Democrat people that I love. But your party is turning into a freaking hotbed of crime and corruption and murder. And if you guys don't want to see it, that's fine. We'll just keep exposing it on our show until you get a clue. Until you get a clue, please. This is killing people. This is killing Americans. We need you guys to step up. We need to quit fighting. Let the politicians fight. Let's fire their asses. We need to get our shit together. This is starting to affect our families and our way of life and our children. $18 billion, folks. Every single person in Minnesota could have had $3,100 a piece. A piece. And it just went up in smoke. Children unfed. Families still struggling. A family of 4 could have had $12,000. That's life-changing money for people and families that are struggling. And it was robbed from them. There's no excuse for that. There's no excuse for that. And then we come over to this case with Camila Mendoza, and, it was the phone. For me, it's the phone. For me, it's the phone, okay? The 19-year-old turning off the phone and leaving it on the bed. It's the phone, okay? It sounds like she may have willingly walked off. Potentially. Okay, guys? Hey, Miss Thornton. It's nice to see you. I hope you're doing well. So let's get started on this. This is interesting. So now they're starting to think that the Texas teen might have disappeared on her own volition. And we started talking about that yesterday, that this was, kind of middle of the road for us, that there's, some things that are making us doubt this whole situation of her, being abducted or some foul play happening to her, because, we specifically identified the phone as being kind of the nuance, if you will, as to why we couldn't get over the fence. It could be an abduction, but it could be she walked off by herself. Now we have to remember Kata Scott, because it sounds like Kata Scott went to meet Keon King willingly, but she ultimately lost her life. Is this the same type of situation that we were dealing with Kata Scott? And if it is law enforcement still taking this seriously? Because just because she willingly walked off doesn't mean that whatever happened to her from that point forward, she willingly wanted to happen to her. So we have to kind of balance this case here. Hey, D Mysteries. I hope you're doing well, love. Good morning. Good morning. So let's hear what the new information is. This is just like a 3-minute clip from News Nation. Hopefully it enlightens us.
Well, where is Camila Almos? That is a question many are still asking this morning as the search for the missing teen ramps up now, nearly a week after she was last seen leaving her San Antonio, Texas home on Christmas Eve.
I'm still not feeling good about this case. I will be honest with you. With her walking away willingly or not, or on her own volition, I still, I mean, a week gone, guys, this really does have a lot of Kata Scott vibes to it. It does. I'm not going to lie. But again, you know, I'm not looking at that because please look up red flag girl dad rescued her from Texas. I saw that. And that's what we said yesterday on there is that there's this uptick. We actually went over what's this one? This is Sebastian. We actually went over that yesterday about this case and about the the crime statistics, and we specifically brought that case up about the young girl where her father tracked her phone and found a half-nude man with a knife, that had abducted the child or the young girl, rather. And so we're definitely hyper aware of things like that going on in California, which is also playing into this whole recipe, But it's the phone being left. And we even talked about, let's just go over some of the stuff we talked about yesterday. We even talked about the three main components, what it could be. There's only 3 paths forward, in my opinion. Voluntary disappearance means she willingly, kind of like, what was that woman's name? Carly, from Hoover, Alabama. Remember Carly? What was her name? I can't remember it, but she was from, I remember Hoover, Alabama. She, hey, Alcoholic. She said there was a white toddler on the side of the road and her wig and whatever. Russell, there it is. Carly Russell. Thank you. Carly Russell. She voluntarily, even though she set it up for her to be this missing person, she voluntarily disappeared. But there's also an accident or medical emergency, which this brings true to me. I've had a friend, we graduated, well, my sister, she was in my sister's class, and they graduated high school. I was a year or 2 behind them. But Crystal Seleska is her name, and she had just graduated with my sister, and she was she never knew that she had any medical issues whatsoever with her. And she was walking to her boyfriend and never made it to her boyfriend's house, and there was a search here for her. And on the way to her boyfriend's, she had some type of cardiac arrest. Young girl, 18, not on drugs or anything like that, but she did obviously have an underlying medical condition she was unaware of. And on her walk to her boyfriend's house, she keeled over and died. And so it was a medical emergency that she lost her life. And then, of course, there's the criminal involvement, which could be a combination of, voluntary disappearance or an abduction. Because just like Kata Scott, she could have voluntarily disappeared, but walked right into a threat, into a peril that, cost her life or something else. And we cannot dismiss these young kids this day and age being on social media and other things where they have an acquaintance possibly involvement, but really the coercion or the grooming aspect that really does come with some of these social media chat rooms and other things. Opportunistic abduction, like if she was walking and somebody just, jumped out and lunged at her, much like Rachel Morin or Lake and Riley. However, with their case, they were there. They were right where they were attacked. Both of them, they were AR'd or attempted. I think Lake and Riley wasn't quite, AR'd, but it seems like the attack on her was sexually motivated, in my opinion. And then, of course, there is an uptick, especially in California, in Texas, and other states that have a high illegal population. There is the risk of human trafficking. And this is an area that is ripe for those, all four of these possibilities that investigators may be considering when covering this case. But we're learning here that they're saying that she disappeared on her own volition. So that's just kind of bringing you guys up full circle to where we are right now.
Steve. Now the FBI is getting involved in the search to find her. Mills is following this one for us. So Mills, investigators releasing this new video, they say may be the last time anyone saw her.
That's right, Kelly. This is a race against time to find Camila Mendoza Olmos, who hasn't been seen since Christmas Eve morning around 7 o'clock, and investigators releasing new video, dash cam footage that appears to show Camila on foot on the left side of the screen here, walking down the road about 2 blocks from her home, apparently alone.
Okay, so that's good. But what I am noticing is what I'm seeing in this footage right here is the same that I saw at her car. Okay, you can't tell. It looks like there's black pants on it, but this is exactly the image that I saw at her car. I know that there's been multiple people saying it doesn't look like the same image. It doesn't look like this. And sometimes that does happen with grainy door cam, different other type of CCTV footage. I mean, look at this dash cam footage. Not very crystal clear, in my opinion. I think my dash cam footage is much clearer than this, but we don't know until we pull it out and look at it. But this is not very clear, but you can see the grainy makeup of an individual right here walking, and you can clearly see that they're in dark colored clothes, which is what I did see right there at the car. So, you know, after seeing this and seeing the car, I know that some of you guys are still going to dispute that was her at the car, but I believe it was her at the car, not some phantom third person. Okay, just FYI, just my opinion so far. It may change. You know, this is a very new case. We're just diving into it. There's a lot of fact finding and a lot of gathering, and I'm balancing working 2 different cases right now because I'm still tearing apart Sebastian Rogers' case. And I'm still trying to learn this new case, which is grabbing my attention for the obvious reasons. It does look like she did leave. She's obviously not with anybody. But one thing I am noticing is she looks like she's on a road that could be busy. And this is a problem for me. It looks like this is a road that would be traveled by people. And how do I know that? Well, look at it. It's a large road. You got 2 lanes. It's nicely paved. You got great strips down the middle. You've got bike path. You got a sidewalk, and you've got running paths. That tells me that this is a well-constructed road. They're not going to get a well-constructed road like this unless people are using it to pay for it to be looking like that, to have this extra run path, to have the sidewalks. This is all cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. They're not putting that. Okay, I know a lot about you know, our where our projects need to be, how much this stuff costs to do. You should turn something into looking like this versus just a regular residential street. This is a lot of money in this road construction. And why am I spending so much time explaining this to you? Because it looks like that people would be driving just by this. They would see her walk, and we know that if somebody sees her, as beautiful as this young lady is, going straight up and turning around and following her. We can see that happening. We can see that happening. I can see that happening in this makeup here. I could absolutely see that happening. So just FYI, where I am with this. Betty, she walks on the bicycle lane. Was she not walking on the sidewalk? No, she's in the bicycle lane. She's walking in the bicycle lane because she's probably running. And if you know anything about, people are very, very particular. A sidewalk is not for running. It's for walking. A bike path is for, in my opinion, for jogging. And I don't know why they do that, but she is on the road. She is in the bike path. She is not on the sidewalk. That would make me believe she's not really taking a leisurely walk as she is probably running.
Sheriff Javier Salazar says that
She looks like she's walking. And it doesn't look like she's in the bike path. You know what it looks like? It looks like she's walking on the curb.
Can't say with 100%
It looks like she's walking.
No, but the video appears.
No, she's on the side. She's on the walk path here, or the bike path here. So let's go back to this. Let's listen to this.
Morning around 7 o'clock, and investigators releasing new video, dash cam footage that appears to show Camila on foot on the left side of the screen here, walking down the road about 2 blocks from her home, apparently alone. Sheriff Javier Salazar says that they can't say with 100% certainty that this is Camila, but the video appears to show a pedestrian wearing the same clothes she was last seen in. Earlier, they say that Camila was captured on security video just before 7 a.m. Christmas Eve outside her home, appearing to search her car, wearing a black North Face, baby blue PJ shorts, and white shoes. Investigators say that they're looking at all possibilities.
You know, she could have just disappeared on her own volition and just wanted to get away, gather her thoughts.
That typically, again, we have the Carly Russell. Did she have any type of breakup? Was she looking for attention? It just doesn't seem like that's the case. And again, you cannot, she was not running. I looked at it. She was walking. But again, one of the things that I don't like about this is that she, isn't alone. She doesn't look like it. The one thing that's got a problem for me is the phone being turned off, especially when she walks all the time with her phone. And I don't know anybody that's going to exercise without music. I think it's a pastime. I think, all of us have a tendency, even walking. If we're walking, we want to listen to our favorite song. We want to bebop along, It just doesn't make sense that we have a 19-year-old girl leaving her house at before 7 a.m. and turning her phone off and leaving it on her bed, not in her dresser, not in the bathroom where she's getting dressed, where she's brushing her teeth, not at the kitchen table where she's having coffee or orange juice or grabbing a drink of water. None of that. It's turned off on her bed. And that's a problem for me. That's a clear action. Now, I don't know what that action quite means. It could mean several different things. But for me, it's just something that we need to take note of, that this could very well be a hint that she did this herself. And again, she might have been meeting somebody. She didn't want anybody knowing she was meeting. And it could have taken a terrible turn. She could have met a guy on a chat and they agreed to meet at so-and-so, leave your phone at home, whatever. I heard she had a breakup and was upset. So we're hearing that there may be a breakup. And if that's the case, I'm worried about the boyfriend for 2 reasons. One, if he broke up with her or cheated on her or something like that, she might be a little vindictive. I'm not saying that's her. I don't know her. Okay. This is just theorizing. Okay. We're just throwing some stuff out there. I don't want anybody getting their feelings hurt. We're just throwing some stuff out there. Oh, thank you. Let them 6C6. I appreciate that. Maybe it died or she couldn't find it that way. They said it was on her bed, like right on her bed. Right there. From everything I can tell, it wasn't hidden. It was right there on her bed. And everybody, and it said it was, I had 2 different statements. One saying that it was not on, and one says that it was powered off. The one that says powered off is the one I'm paying so much attention to, because in order to power it off, then you need to do certain things to power it off. Not that it died, to power it off. So I'm very curious if the phone had battery juice in it or not, and I don't think we are going to. Mom slept with her at night, emotional, yeah, and a lot of people, I understand that's the way my little sister and my mom are as well. If they can pack up in a room together, they will, so they're just very close like that.
There is a concern regarding self-harm, so that could be what's going.
Whoa! Where a concern of self-harm. So now, if there's a concern of self-harm, then there's obviously something going on in this lady's life that is a concern. And like I said, I'm not comfortable with how long this has been. It's been over 5 days. She walked away without her phone. Okay, now we're hearing, now that changes things a little bit. That changes things a lot. Okay, nobody's going to say the possibility of self-harm if there's not a possibility of self-harm. Wow. Let's listen to this again.
So that could be what's going on here, is she may have gone and harmed herself, or she could have been abducted. At this point, we're looking at that whole spectrum of possibility. Gather her, have just disappeared on her
Black North possibility,
and just wanted to get away, gather her thoughts. There is a concern regarding self-harm, so that could be what's going on here, is she may have gone and harmed herself, or she could have been abducted. At this point, we're looking at that whole spectrum of
I don't like how they threw that in there, because that was never anything anybody had discussed previously. And now they're saying, News Nation is saying that she may have disappeared on her own volition. So with the cops saying that they're concerned of a potential self-harm situation, that's very concerning for me, because that kind of would line up with what we're seeing here. That would explain why this feels like she willingly left her phone behind and anything that could possibly track her. And why she would have been looking in her vehicle. She may have put a note in her vehicle. She may have taken something that was special out of her vehicle, or she may have taken what she needed to carry out this self-harm act out of her vehicle. Because if her mom was staying in her home, I don't think she would have been able to bring this into her home with her. But that would explain why her phone was on her bed, clearly observable, and why she was in her car and why she took off. She did just break up with her boyfriend. We're learning that. Betty, the sheriff loves to flap his lips. He just threw this conspiracy out there. Okay, well, everyone says she was incredibly giving. You can be incredibly giving and kind and be dealing with a lot of stuff, okay? Look at Robin Williams. Probably one of the nicest people in the world, and he suffered from depression. And these young kids this day and age aren't taught how to handle grief. They're not taught life skills in school like we were when we were growing up. You know, they give them a safe space in a coloring book. There's no safe space in coloring books out there in the real world. These kids are not, they don't know how to deal with rejection. They don't know how to deal with a lot of life stuff. And we see this over and over again. Not to say anything negatively about her. I'm not saying that. But I definitely would not dismiss it, Claudia, because there are some indicators here that this might be a potential, potentially something like this. This would explain, because it was always the phone. Even yesterday when we were talking about this, I kept saying, it's this phone. This phone is what's has me a little weird. It's the phone. And I kept saying that over and over again yesterday. And I think the phone is still the key here, because again, 19 years old, kids that are 19 years old can't go 2 minutes without their phone. Okay. I work on my phone all day. I go nuts if I can't find my phone. I literally go nuts. You will hear me say some pretty foul language if I walk around this house more than twice and can't find my phone. Okay. So I've got to look at that, because I have to, I play the tape through and I think about myself, and then I try to think about what I was when I was younger, and I can't think about younger because we weren't like this when we were younger. We didn't have these technologies. Fent, I don't know. She doesn't seem like she was in there. I heard she was a churchgoer, I mean, not that has anything that means anything. But stranger danger needs to be brought back with awareness, in my opinion. I think we do need to bring some, but it's so low grade. I think we spent too much time worrying about stranger danger when the majority of our dangers are within our arm's reach, within our home, She was with her mother, she's probably dealing with a lot, trying to play the tape through. She couldn't talk to her mom about some of the stuff she was grieving with, maybe. I don't know. Very interesting. Let's keep going and see if we can find out any more interesting information here.
Possibilities.
Investigators say Camila was dealing with school-related issues and recently went through a mutual breakup, but Her father told San Antonio News 4 that she never suffered from depression, or at least didn't share that with him, with what she was going through as far as stress or mental hardships. And Sheriff Salazar says Camila left behind her phone and iPad, but they have been able to go through digital evidence with the help of the FBI. Salazar adding that he checked with ICE to see if she had potentially been picked up by officers, but the U.S. citizen is not in their custody. And Kelly, just yesterday, I received a text from Camila's aunt. She told me, quote, "Thank you so much for all your support. We know that God is going to help us bring her back home safely, and with the support of the community who continue to show us that there are still good people in the world, we truly feel strengthened. Thank you in the name of the Olmos family." She also told me that they are asking anyone who lives in the area with surveillance cameras or doorbell cameras to check them for any sign of Camila.
I think that's going to be where we're going to go with this, is because this case really could go either way. I mean, she is so pretty, and that's what's bothering me, because that's a big road. I mean, you can tell the road. So there's people that travel that road, and even with that truck that was going by that saw it right around the corner, you had two more car lights, following right behind. They got a good bit of traffic. Yeah, the ball and chain. Great analogy of that. It is. It's an appendage. Okay, it's like it's a piece of you. And so that has always bothered me when we learned that her phone was left behind. I always, am very weirded by that. Almost everyone I know, by the time they're 19, have had sad times and a lot to say. They depressed, but not clinically. Right. Well, we all go through stuff. Like, I go through seasonal depression. It's not something that I need to pop a pill for. I mean, I understand I go through it. And so I try to do things that help, get me out of the funk. It's just, I don't know. I just, I have seasonal depression, but the thought of, outside of being like 15 and things going not my way. Of course, when I was 15, 16, 17, of course, if I had just the right ingredients, I might not be here, because that's the way we teenagers are. It's like, oh my gosh, I didn't ask to be born. I don't want to be here, So outside of stuff that I thought or did when I was younger, I don't ever think about, self-harm or anything like that. I think even with everything that was going on with me, I try to keep an upbeat personality. Did it wear on me at times? Yeah, it did wear on me. So I know that stuff can wear on even the most, sane people. Pressures in life kind of get the best of you at some point in your life, right? At some point in your life, you feel like you're ready to crack, right? If you go through life and have never felt the pressures of life, consider yourself lucky. If you just had a life like that, you are like one in a million. But for the rest of us, there's going to be pressures that are almost too much to withstand. We do, right? We're all looking around and saying, this is going to kill me, but we've lived through our worst days so far. So clearly we're a lot stronger than maybe even we give ourselves credit for. Hey, Megan Els, it's nice to see you, love bug. I hope you're doing well. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button on your way in or on your way out. But with this one, it's a little weird, but I can see it's the self-harm, folks. Why did he bring that up? And I don't think he's talking, because he said, there is a concern, so that they're not going to bring up a concern that does not exist, in my opinion. But I can't get over how beautiful this young lady is, and the fact that she was alone on a road that she is alone and on. It sounds like this is a regular routine for her. So the people that were passing her should pass her almost every single day. Was there a time when there was no cars or just one cars, and that she, clearly there were some type of cameras out there? She got a car camera. So if you are in this area and you come across the Bullhorn Betty channel, I think at this point, we just need to ask you to look at your Ring doorbell, your dash cams, that dash camera. Thank God for the person that took the time to look. They found something. This could help at least lead to where she may be. If we can find some areas out there. Best thing I've done as a mother is get early mental health treatment due to the mean girl bullying. Yep. And that's it too. But I would like, I just wish that people would be instilling in people the noise. When I was taught, we were taught to have tough skin. Like, people picked on us. Our teachers, they would be like, go deal with it. Like, I mean, you got no special treatment when we were growing up, okay? Maybe that's what makes us so rough around the edges, but I'd rather be rough around the edges than a foo-foo, okay? I'm sorry. But this day, and I can deal with rejection. I dealt with a freaking public affair, right? I can deal with a lot of stuff. I've dealt with my whole entire life, been put out there in the public forum. I mean, not the best things to see in the world about Bullhorn Betty, but it's okay. It's me. It's where I came from. It's what got me to where I am today. It's nothing to be ashamed of. It's a growing lesson. And not only that, it's a calling card, right? It's showing you where I came from and where I'm at now. Damn, if she can do it, maybe I can do it too, right? If she can pull herself out of the gutter and put herself up here, maybe I can do that too. That's what it's all about. So I'm not really ashamed of it. Would I have rather it not happened? Of course. Would I have rather have taken a better, maybe not such a rocky path forward? Of course. But here we go. This young lady just doesn't seem like that. So we do really have a question here, because this does explain a lot. If she did, if we're looking at this as a self-harm type of case, this would kind of bode with a lot of the stuff we're seeing. But in the grand scheme of things, we could take into consideration that, like many people said, it's possible that the phone was just dead, that she was just irresponsible the night before and forgot to plug it in. She got up to go for the run and realized her phone was dead. Was like, shit, well, I can't take it with me for the run this morning, and just left it there. And then just the one day that she decides to leave her phone at home is the one day that the creep that drives by her and ends up snatching her off the side of the road. I mean, there is that. But I don't see it being any other way. It's either self-harm, in my opinion, or it is foul play. I don't think that, I think she voluntarily walked off. I think that's obvious. She did voluntarily walk off. I don't think we could see it any other way, because she does this regularly. But why right before... She wouldn't. She's 19 years old, impressionable, heartbroken, and was not going to spend her Christmas with her boyfriend. Nobody leaves without their phone. I agree. That's the hardest part for me. This might make sense for self-harm folks. I mean, I'm not saying that that's the case. I'm just saying don't dismiss it, folks. Don't dismiss it. And I hope that that's not the case. We had another case like this. Remember the mom? She got in a fight with her mom and told her mom she was going off, and her mom couldn't even speak to the camera. Her father, they were of Indian descent. And I remember the father standing in the camera, and the father tried to turn the mom, and the mom just turned her face and just started crying. It's like the mom knew, and it was like a week or two that later they found their daughter, and their daughter did what she said she was going to do. It was hard. It's hard. It's always hard to watch, because, parents, they try so hard. They know how special their children are. They know that whatever their children are going through is just a temporary problem. And they just pray to God that they give them enough, encouragement to stay the course, to stay strong, not to go under because of pain. Pain does do things to people. I can tell you, pain's changed me, right? So pain does do things to people, but I really do believe that this younger generation is just not trained for life. They're just not given the proper education for life. I've been saying this for years. Let's just keep going.
Homeland Security also monitoring border crossings and international travel in case Camila may have left the country, potentially to Mexico on her own or by force. Kelly.
They're really pushing this on her own thing, though. You guys notice that? So we're starting to hear a change in the statements from law enforcement, and the changes aren't what I like to hear. I mean, they're not the worst things to hear, but they're not what I like to hear. And the reason why I say I don't like to hear them is because it does lean toward that it could potentially be self-harm. When they start saying she's left on her own, and we start incorporating the fact that her phone was left behind. She's 19 years old. It's a girl that never leaves her phone behind, so there is that. So I don't know, I don't know what to say about that other than what we've already said. It's just a sad situation, but I feel like this is not going to end. She's been gone too many days. That's why it's leaning toward, that's why I kept starting to feel like it's an abduction. But it's always been the phone that keeps me from that full, really, being 100% on the abduction. It's the phone. So I hope she's okay too. Why nobody is talking about the 17-year-old Angelique Johnson went missing the same day and county as Camilla. Alcoholics send that to me. We might have, that might change things a little bit. I mean, I feel like we have, and we also heard there was an 18-wheeler around this area, and you guys know how I feel. I believe we have some serial killers out there in rigs. And so if we have a rig and she's missing and now the rig's gone, I got questions. I'm not 100% on the self-harm, folks. Like I said, it's one or the other. It's 50-50 at this point until we get some more information from where I'm sitting. It could be she is in a self-harm predicament, and that would explain why she's been gone for so long, because she might be gone. But she's also very beautiful, very young, had the same routine, regularly walked her community. Her community looked nice and safe, though, but crime happens in nice, safe communities all the time, right? So that doesn't mean anything. So what happened to this young lady? What happened to her? I do pray she's okay. It's not looking good, okay? It's been too many days. I will tell you that. No child's going to be without their phone 5 days. So I'm kind of expecting a shoe to drop at any moment, okay? I'm just going to tell you guys. I'm praying to God that's not going to be the case, but I'm it's been too many days. So I'm waiting for the sad news to come. So I'm just going to prepare you guys now. It's been 5 days. We know how this stuff works. The chances of her coming back are very slim. Okay? Unfortunately, that's just the way the statistics work. It could be a crime of opportunity. I think it could absolutely be that. But now that we're learning a little more about the boyfriend, we're learning a little more about the breakup, right before Christmas, nonetheless, this could push a 19-year-old over the edge. If she was looking forward to spending her Christmas with her boyfriend and everything like that, guys, but it could also be that she broke up with him and that he told them that, this was a mutual breakup, and really he was the one stalking her and took her, it really could be a lot of different things here. Okay. We're not solid on one, but now that law enforcement, because trust me, out of all the cases, how often do we hear law enforcement bringing up self-harm? Very, very rarely, unless it really is a possibility. And, hearing this, within 5 days of this case, it makes me feel like they're starting to lean and starting to prepare the public for a self-harm situation. That's just what it seems like to me. Not that it is. That's just, I'm just telling you how I'm feeling, why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling, and stuff like that. Could it be? Could it not be? We don't know.
We have been covering the case of Camilla Olmos, and it is a puzzling one indeed. She is still missing, and authorities are working around the clock to find her. Breaking news coming in now, as there is new footage of Camilla. This is the last confirmed sighting investigators currently have. The clothing that she is wearing in this footage matches the description put out by police. We can clearly see the baby blue shorts. Makes me wonder if this is her normal walking route.
And many people have denoted that she's not on the sidewalk. She's in the bike lane of the road. She's not on the sidewalk. She's on the bike lane of the road. Sheriff said they spoke with Angelina Johnson on the phone. So Angelina has been found, it sounds like. So we got, guys, we see that she's walking. So we know that she's walking. We see that she's walking. What does this mean? I'm unsure. So let's go up here. We've got Gone on Christmas. Haunting CCTV footage shows Camilla, 19, frantically rummaging through her car before vanishing without a phone. So it's starting to seem a little funky, to say the least. Let me pause this. I don't need it jamming up my system. I don't like publications because of that. But here's what we've learned. Camilla almost 19 vanished December 24th after she was last seen on neighbor surveillance footage while leaving her home. There she is. That's her face. Cute little girl. She's precious. She's precious. And there's her family asking for help. It looks like her friend just heartbroken. They know something. Their eyes are very, very sad. So we're looking here. I don't know if it's the angle or what, but I have to believe that this is, they're not going to say that that's Camilla if it's not Camilla. If they thought it was a third person or somebody, they would tell us that they believe that there was somebody around her car, moments before she disappeared or something like that. So I believe she was around the car. And when I saw the video of the car, I didn't see I hadn't watched the image of her running on the road yet, or walking on the road yet. But when I saw the image, I know for a fact that's kind of what I saw in the image of her rummaging in the back of the car. Frantically, I'm not sure if it was frantically rummaging. I don't know if I would call it frantic, but definitely rummaging. So Camilla has not been spotted since she left San Antonio suburb around 7 a.m. During Monday afternoon press conference, Bexar County Sheriff Javier Salazar revealed that the neighbor who was on their way to work Christmas Eve captured her at the intersection. The female was seen wearing the clothes that she was last seen in. She was wearing what we believe the young lady was wearing at the time she was last seen, they say. The video, Salazar explained, showed Camilla voluntarily walking away from her home on Christmas Eve morning. Bexar County Sheriff's Office initially said they were investigating all possibilities, including the risk that she may have been taken out of the continental United States. So they're looking at this from multiple angles, folks. They're covering the ports of entry, and in case she was abducted or she willingly traveled out of state. Or the country, but they're also looking at this, as we learned, possibly a self-harm case. However, during Monday's update, Salazar said investigators have not uncovered any direct information suggesting Camilla left the country. At this point, we got several different theories working, guys. The theories that we're working with on the run, the whole gamut of possibilities, he says. So the sheriff said Camilla has a history of suicidal ideation. There it is. Okay. I am starting to feel like this is leaning a specific direction. I really do. This, maybe not yesterday, but today I think we're starting to see this. And despite the father saying she wasn't depressed, obviously she has a history, and sometimes families don't want to acknowledge it. It's easy or not. They have a beautiful life. The family can't understand what they have to be depressed about. They don't understand depression if they've never had it. There might be maybe wishful thinking. Maybe her father doesn't want to think that she couldn't come and talk to him. That's usually what parents struggle with the most is, why didn't they think they couldn't come talk to me, right? And it's nothing any parent has done. I just want to tell you. So if you are a parent of a child that's self-harmed, it wasn't your fault. I think each and every one of you guys need to hear that. every single day, that it wasn't your fault. And there's nothing you could have done to change the outcome. Okay? I know that's hard to hear, but it's the truth. You did nothing wrong, and there's nothing that you could have done to change the outcome. When somebody makes up their mind to do something like this, it's usually done knee-jerk reaction, the damage is done. There's no coming back, okay? It's nothing that anybody could have foreseen. You knew that there was some trouble. You tried to, help with the trouble. You did the best you could. It just, the person is just, some things just consume you. We do know that there is some depression issues in the past, but what young person doesn't have thoughts of depression at certain points? And I have to agree with that. So we can't necessarily afford to just say, oh, well, it must be this. We've got to consider all possibilities, from the disappearance willfully to a possibility of self-harm to the possibility of somebody taking her. So we've discussed this yesterday as well. Salazar previously said that he was concerned that Camilla, who is a U.S. citizen, may have been mistaken by immigration and custom enforcement officers, which is not true. But they felt the need to put that in the article, of course. So we're going to let them roll with that. But I doubt that ICE detainees or ICE officers, especially since they specifically said that she left with her driver's license, couldn't have figured that out in real time. But I digress. We got to throw the racist comments in there, right? We got to make sure that those are in this report, because good God, it can't be anything else. Bexar County Sheriff's Department is working in conjunction with the FBI and the Department of Homeland Security. The federal agency is assisting and monitoring border crossings and international travel, Salazar said. Well, I can tell you, if she's self-harmed, she's near the property. She's not going to be any further than a mile or two from the house. So if you guys are out there looking for this young lady, my suggestion would be to find the nearest wooded area and start searching that. And you're going to find, if this is a self-harm candidate, you're going to find her within 2 miles of her home, 2.5 miles of her home. I don't see her going further than that. I really don't. So that's just my opinion. She didn't have a phone. She couldn't have called for an Uber. She couldn't have called for a Lyft. She couldn't have called to order a car in any way, shape, or form. She didn't have any cash on her. All she had was simply keys and a driver's license, according to her family. And if that's the case, well, that's not going to get you anywhere, and it's not going to get you picked up, and it's not going to pay for anybody to take you out of the area. So she's going to be within a 2-mile radius of where her home is if she's self-harmed. The only time she's not going to be in that 2-mile radius is most likely if she was abducted, which is still a very, very good possibility. But this area looks, we need to look at some crime statistics. I'll pull some crime statistics for this area, maybe have some conversations. But she's 5'4", 110 pounds. She was last seen wearing baby blue shorts with a black hoodie, pajama bottoms, white shoes, it says. Pajama bottoms, I'm not sure about that. Camilla was last seen leaving her house at 6:58 on Wednesday, December 24th. On video footage, we're learning that she just had a previous breakup, that she's had a history of depression and self-harm ideation. So this is her father. Let's listen to what he has to say, and then we will be winding this show down.
Right now.
Well, I'm feeling down, devastated, The only thing is my faith. It keeps me going in God, and men of faith, and all the support here, community, churches, all over.
Father, you can tell it in his voice. He's doing everything he can. Hey, Hobo's mom. Deborah, it's nice to see you. He's doing everything he can to hold his emotion back. You can hear it in his voice. Guys are like that. You don't necessarily see it in, where they're crying like women do, but you hear the cry in the way they talk.
Family members, all over. I know the prayers. That's what's keeping me strong.
Yeah, I talked to your friend over here, and he was telling me how your daughter was just always with you.
Yes.
Kind of like a daddy's girl.
Daddy's girl. She always called her that. Daddy's girl.
So tell me a little bit about how the search is going, where we stand right now.
Oh, we're standing good. They're doing an awesome job, everybody. Also, all the rescues, the sheriffs, the Bexar, everybody. And I know God out there too.
Any leads on what could possibly had happened? I know your friend said that she might have said her goodbyes to you a day prior.
Oh, she came in and said and tell me she loves me, but that was usual for me. She was daddy's girl and always loved me, and she loved me and cared for me. To remember that I love you, I said like nothing. She always said that to me, so it wasn't something awkward or different. I never thought unusual, but she ain't the type of person who would have done something like this.
So Dad, Daddy's little girl, would Dad be the most observant? I'm sorry, their fathers are not. And it's nothing against dads. Dads are great. Dads do things, they're not as emotional. They take us fishing. They show us certain things. But I don't think if you're Daddy's little girl that, I don't know how to say it, but I just feel like if you're Daddy's little girl, then Daddy's he's not going to see when you're struggling. Like, he knows when your heart's hurt, but he doesn't think like that, my dad didn't, right? They do their best they can, but they don't understand.
She always put her, first. She wouldn't put her, she always put anybody first before her, and caring, loving, Christian.
Yeah. So now we have the FBI involved. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, that's what I heard. Those good news from the investigators. That makes me feel great, and I hope we find her. We're gonna find her. We're gonna find her, and she's gonna come home safe.
Yeah.
We miss her. Whoever sees her out there, and she knows out there, that Daddy's here waiting, and come home and
me too.
Love her.
Absolutely. We got tons of people out.
Oh yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah, this is support rescue. They were offering. Oh, I've been getting help. Bless. I know.
Let me just get down to a few other. There's another spot here.
She took nothing, no identification, nothing, or in her cell. It's unusual, and the support.
It's got to be hard to not hear from her, for nearly a week, and wonder where she could be.
Well, I worry a lot. I would say she took nothing, no identification, nothing, or in her cell. It's
no identification. So he says there's no identification. We heard that she had her keys and her ID. He's saying not even her identification. So from the time we heard that to now, we're now learning she did not have her identification with her. So she basically walked away from the home without anything. She had her keys and she got into the car for something. And she took something out of the car and she took off and walked away. Guys, I think this is why we're going to be hearing this might be a self-harm situation. I don't want to say that, conclusively, but it looks like this is where we're starting to lean here. We're starting to hear some things that we don't typically like hearing at this juncture of a case. We're starting to hear about depression. We're starting to hear about the... I did watch a press conference, but I think we watched it here. We watched the press conference here, I'm pretty sure, yesterday morning. But again, we can go back and look at that press conference.
That we're leaving out?
What does the family think that happened? Well, I didn't know she was going to maybe stress, but they didn't tell me because I was telling myself, we're divorced. I'm a divorce. I'm not with the mother, We're not together. We've been divorced 11 years. That affected the first time, but she never had thoughts like that, I was always there for her, whatever she needed. Bought her a car,
I know we saw reports of this being considered like a mental health.
No, I never had no mental, no depression. She was athletic,
Yeah.
She goes to work out at the gym, athletic.
So he's not even considering, the possibility of depression here.
Walks and, ride a bike and just athletic and real humble.
Do you think it might have been some foul play involved in this, or what do you think, or where's your headspace at right now with all this?
Might be. I can't say. I don't know, because she wasn't like that. She ain't like that. I'm sorry. She ain't like that. Because I know she got baptized Christian, and and all her friends, they get around.
Yeah, her father's, and we have to listen to that too. You know, her father knows her and saying, look, she's not like this. She doesn't do this. I don't anticipate this being the case. But when they ask, do you think she's abducted? He's like, I don't know what to think. So it doesn't sound like he's obviously in the back of his mind, in my opinion, in denial. Yeah, in the back of his mind, to me, he seems like he knows that there might be a possibility to this self-harm aspect. Because in my opinion, if it wasn't, when they asked him, what do you think happened? Well, obviously somebody had to have abducted her, right? That would be your next thing. Not, I really don't know. I really don't know. You know, it seems like he's not wanting to call anybody out because maybe there's not anybody to call out. If she broke up with her boyfriend right before Christmas, see, I was unaware of this yesterday. And if that's the case, yeah, if that is the case, then yeah, I'm 50-50 on this one. It's hard. It's hard. That's why we have to look at both sides of this. But I don't think it's going to be anything else. It's either going to be a self-harm or abduction. I don't think there's going to be, even abduction by family, abduction third party or known. It's going to be one or the other, Her boyfriend vows to keep looking for her and never stop looking for her. He must be going through it. I'm not convinced that he's a suspect or anything like that just yet. This self-harm is a curveball, okay? And law enforcement is bringing that up quite a bit here lately, folks. So, no, excuse me. My mom is a bomb diggity. My mom's still alive, actively doing everyone's crazy. From Indiana to Georgia, I can't stand. She won't stop. Oh. She's homeless and may have... good gracious. Well, God bless you. God bless you.
Her best friends, Camila, Estrella, Isabella, she calls her Bella. They're awesome friends and family, and you go ask them and they're all caring or their family.
I would like to talk to the best friend. Now, I definitely would like to talk to the best friend. That's for sure. That's for sure. So here we have Camilla, okay? We're learning that there's more to the story than meets the eye. When you look at the area she's from, it looks like a pretty good area. I'm not going to lie. Okay. I'm not really into San Antonio. I don't like the area. I think I just don't like it. It's where Matthew Guerra, we went there to cover the case. I didn't really like any of San Antonio. I not to offend anybody that's from San Antonio. I love you guys. I love everybody. But I'm not a fan of your area. I'm honest with you to tell you guys that I don't like it. It doesn't make me feel good when I'm there. Okay, I see a lot of gates and chains and things being, with stuff around it. It tells me it's not safe. People break in. It just, the whole area just gives me, does not bode with me too well. But with that being said, this looked like one of the nicer areas that I've seen in San Antonio. So this girl did not live, in my opinion, in a very dangerous area. And again, that doesn't matter. Danger goes in every area of the world, okay? Even the good neighborhoods. Look at Bob Reiner, right? Look at him. Probably one of the most safe neighborhoods in all of America. And then him and his wife are murdered, right? So it doesn't really matter where you are. Crime is everywhere. No matter what safe community you think you are, it's there's crime everywhere. So I don't want people to have this illusion that because you feel safe, you are safe. Because unfortunately, that is just an illusion. Because just because you feel safe doesn't mean you are safe, right? So I'm not really a fan of this area of Texas. And so I've already kind of feel, like I could see bad things happening, but this looked like a fairly good area. So it's kind of hard thinking that a perfectly unknown stranger just came up and abducted her in the middle of morning. Okay, it's too far-fetched for me. So if there really was an abduction, in my opinion, it's most likely somebody she knows. But this self-harm thing's really starting to fit what we're seeing here. The phone being left home, the license being left home. This is all kind of feeling that vibe, okay? So I'm going to sit here and wait. We're not closing our theory box. We've got several theories on the table. One's going to start rising to the top, okay? And right now it looks like this self-harm theory starting to get some legs and arms, okay? So this might be where we are. If you are out there in the area trying to find places to search, just out of my experience and my expertise, I would be looking in the wooded areas within 2 miles of the home. I would start from the closest area and work your way out to the furthest area. If you're out there in this community and you're looking for her, if self-harm is something that you're entertaining, you're not going to find her out there on the roads, okay? You're going to find her where she's going to have, if you guys know of a place that she likes to go that's beautiful, that's kind of her little a slice of paradise, I would try that place first. If she's not there, then it's time to move on. It's time to start really considering very highly of this stranger danger or, foul play scenario. So Travis Scott should be in jail, in my opinion. Travis Scott. Isn't he that singer? Isn't he that singer that did that weird shit and people ended up losing their life? What about her cell phone? It was left home. It was left home, Red. It was left home. So there's something like, even yesterday when I was talking about it, I'm like, this does sound like really, really dangerous abduction type stuff. It really did have a lot of vibes of Kata Scott, but it was the phone being left on the bed and turned off. Usually, think about it. Usually people, when you plug in your phone, you're charging it. You don't turn it off. Even when your phone's down at 2% and you hear the ding, you don't turn it off. And even if it was completely dead the next morning, what is your normal routine when you wake up and your phone is dead and turned off? What's the first thing you do? You plug it into the wall and you turn it on to see if you missed anything. Even if it's just for a split second to see as you're walking out the door, you don't just typically leave it, have a dead phone, 19 years old, throw it on your bed and say, I'll charge it when I get back. Of course not. If your phone was completely dead, you're charging it while you leave, so when you come back, it's fully charged. Wouldn't that be more reasonable with your personal behaviors in a situation like that? She just wanted to shut herself off from the world. It's starting to feel like that, honey dip. It's starting to feel a little like that. So again, not quite ready to say this is totally abduction yet. Yep, unless you don't want to be located. Exactly. So we're starting to see this, transform a little bit. It doesn't mean that we're self-harm, that we're going down the self-harm. It just means that this is a good, really good possibility and a probability, right? We have two probabilities, two that are rising to the stranger danger or self-harm. Those are the two that, for me, are rising to the top. However, which goes along with leaving the cell phone and the driver's license at home. See, that's where the self-harm kind of elevates itself a little higher than the stranger danger abduction. It comes down to that phone. I said that yesterday. We're going to find out. It truly is going to come down to that phone. But everybody, I just want to thank you guys for rolling with me this morning. I appreciate it. Don't forget, today at 5 p.m., we've got a massive update, okay? Explosive, if you will, update on Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. One that if you've been following the case with Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, this is going to be one you're not going to want to miss, okay? We've done a lot of lives on this one, but I promise you, this is going to be the most clarifying. And the ones that are going to be coming after this moment are going to be super clarifying, because I'm finally building the system that we should have built over a year ago. And now that we've got it, we're going to start pushing out some stuff. So you're going to want to stay right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. If you've been following the Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers case, we're about to blow your mind today at 5 p.m. Be there or be square. Yes, 4 p.m. Central. 4 p.m. Central. My time's Eastern Standard. If you guys want to go over there and get notified, Now's the time to do it. It's already up. It's already ready. We've already got the show done and scripted everything. Again, mind-blowing stuff. Mind-blowing stuff. We've got questions. We've got answers. We've got a lot more answers today than we did yesterday. So we'll see you back here, right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel at 5 p.m. this evening, Eastern Standard Time. Rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, please be safe, but more importantly, kind to one another. And as you hear, we've got ball to go play with because Delilah says it's my turn now. You guys have had me long enough, and she's saying now it's her turn. All right, we'll see you soon.